Hello and welcome to this video training in which we will be reviewing the steps necessary to perform a direct inter-org transfer. We use this procedure when we are moving one warehouse from one building to a different building. And the distance between those two buildings is less than a day. And we know that everything we shipped is going to be received and put away all in the same day. So those are the requirements that have to be met in order to be able to use this procedure of direct inter-org transfers. If the transit is greater than a day or any of the requirements are not met, then we have to use what is called in-transit transfer. This procedure is regarding the direct inter-org transfers. And this video training will be mainly focusing in the documents that are required to manage the transfers along with the transactions in the Oracle system. This training has to be used also side by side with the procedure that is in the screen, which is very detailed instructions from beginning to end on how to manage the move of a warehouse using this procedure. This procedure in the screen is called direct inter-org transfer, and it will be available in the company folder. But however, in this video training, we'll just focus mainly in the documents in the Oracle system steps or tasks. Okay, so throughout the entire process, we'll use one single form, which we call direct transfer form. The format is in Excel, but the warehouse who's performing the transfers needs to print a batch of this so they can be filled out manually in the warehouse, because this is a working document. So it'll be just a blank form, like a template. You guys print it, and then it gets filled out as you guys progress throughout the move. One form is meant to be used for every 9 racks. And we do that because we want one form per transfer, and one 53 trailer can only hold up to 9 racks. So however many items or tires are fit in one 9 racks, then we use one of these forms. Okay, so everything starts with the warehouse manager or the person in charge knowing what tires they need to transfer in one given trailer and giving specific instructions to the puller. So that's where we start this training. So in this case, we have one item for 250 tires, the item number, the description, where he's going to pull them from, and the lot that he's going to pull. So we start there. You guys hand this form to the puller, and you instruct them where to pull them from, closer to the trailer where it's going to be loaded. So the puller goes, pulls the specific tires, the specific lot, and brings them to the staging area. Once he's done, he or she signs his name. We're just going to use samples names here for purposes of training. Alright, so Tomas pulled the product. The DC manager or the person in charge has to assign a different person than the puller to QC the product. And once that person is done with the QC portion, signs his name or her name. And now the tires are ready to be loaded. This is the only case where the QC person and the loading person can be the same. as opposite to the puller and the QC person. The puller and the QC person can never be the same, but the QC person and the loading person can be the same. So we use that example. So the tires have been pulled, QC'd, and loaded, and therefore, since they have been loaded, we know the trailer number. So you guys can also fill out the trailer number. And once these steps are completed, this paper form has to make it back to the shipping office because it has to be processed for transferring the Oracle system. So this form gets to the office for shipping, and at that point, the shipping person or whoever is doing the shipping in the system, it has to assign it a unique bill of lading number. And this has to be unique because we're going to use that number throughout the entire process of these 9 racks. So for this example, we'll use 1-1 because it'll be our first transfer, and it'll be just one user. If you guys have more than 1 users performing this, then we recommend you guys use like a 2.1, 2-1, so they are different than these ones. 1-1. You guys need to keep a log of what numbers have been used to prevent using the same number again, because it has to be unique. So you know the bill of lading number, and of course also the date. And now we are ready to process this transfer in the Oracle system. The 2 hold bin, we're gonna transfer everything from the shipping warehouse into the receiving warehouse into HLD. And in HLD, 1 locator will be assigned per driver. So in this case, we have, let's use an example that we're gonna transfer everything to the holding locator 07. Let's say you have 7 drivers, and then this driver is taking this product. Okay, so now with these pieces of information, we're going to go ahead and transfer the product from one warehouse to the next. All right, so you go to the Oracle system, and this has to take place in the shipping warehouse. So in this case, in this training, we are doing TN1 shipping product to TN2. So you'll go to the shipping warehouse, you go to inventory management, material transactions, and then you'll go to inter-org transfers, and you will open that. In here, you'll leave the date alone. You'll click the drop down in the to org field, and automatically populated the DC TN2. The type has to be direct org transfer. And here, very important, the waybill number is where we'll be entering the bill of lading number that we just created, which was 1-1. And again, this information comes from the form that we were working on earlier. So you have all this information in your header, and then you click transaction lines, and then we'll transfer the product in our form. So we're going to transfer these tires, are coming out of OSK. The locator was A07. We are going to transfer this into TN2, into HLD, our holdings of inventory. And like we discussed earlier, we're going to transfer this to HS7, 07. and the lot number is 1703. And those are the only pieces of information that, oh, I'm sorry, and we need to transfer the 250 tires. So once we have all this information, then we click Save. And our transfer has been completed and saved. So once we do that, the tires have been transferred from TN1 to TN2 into hold into locator HS07. So at this moment, once the tires have been transferred in the system, then you hand the paper or you get the signature of the driver. Because only until then he is able to leave with the tires. The driver can never leave without the step of transferring the products has taken place. So the name of the driver, I don't know, I'm just going to use Alright, so you guys have the driver name. The seal number, it is optional if you guys are going to seal the trailers. If not, just put NA. And then you send the driver on its way with 2 copies of this document. You make 1 copy. One of these copies stays in the office. It gets signed by the process. I'm sorry, I almost went ahead on this without filling this out. The process by is a step that we just perform in Oracle, which I did it. So I'll just sign my name. So it has my signature and the signature of the driver. So once this is taking place and this form is completed in the shipping portion, then we can go ahead and ship the product. We can also fill out the total pieces, the 250, and the total weight. You guys can just do the math of how much is the weight of the trailer, of the load. This is required because in case the driver gets pulled over by the highway patrol and then he needs to show the bill of lading. So always populate the total quantity and the total weight. Those have to be exact, but you guys can do the math of how many tires and how much the tires weigh and add the weight of the racks. Alright, so I believe that then this form is ready to be on its way to the new warehouse. Alright, so this form, again, 1 copy stays behind as a shipping document. So it has to be behind in the shipping office for our records. And then 2 copies go with the driver because he wants to keep 1 for his proof of delivery. And the other one has to go into the receiving warehouse because we're going to use that also as a working document. Okay, so once the driver makes it to the receiving warehouse, then we start working on this second portion of the form. The left portion of the form is for shipping. Then we have this black divider here, and the right portion of the form will be used at the receiving warehouse. So the trailer makes it, and then it gets unloaded. The unloader also signs his name. So the tires get unloaded. Once they get unloaded, the unloader signs his name. Oh, and before I keep moving forward, I'm sorry, once this form makes it into the receiving warehouse, we need to make 2 copies because 1 copy has to go into the receiving warehouse pending and waiting for the other copy that is going to be the working form in the warehouse. And you want to do that because You want to keep one form waiting for the other one in case the one that is going to be worked in the warehouse gets misplaced or lost. So once again, the trailer makes it to the receiving office. Then once the receiving office gets this document, makes one copy and keeps one blank copy of this in the office, waiting for the same type of form but filled out. And again, you do that because you want to keep one form waiting for the other one in case the one in the warehouse gets lost. All right, so this will be the form that is getting worked, so it gets unloaded. Again, a different person than the unloader. QCs the form, QCs the product. Once is QC, the QC person signs it, and then we're gonna assign it to get put away. So we assign it to a person to put it away. So in this case, we're gonna give specific instructions as to where to locate these 250 tires. Now, if you notice this form, we designed it so that it has got room for 5 different items, different lots, but it allows to up to 10 put away locations, and that's because we want to give you guys the freedom or the option of, in case these 250 tires don't all fit in one locator, you can break it up into 2 or 3 or as many as you need. So let's do that example here. Let's say that he was able to only fit 200 tires in locator B. B01, and the other 50 tires in B02. Alright, so he's done with the put away. Physically put this away. Once the tires are physically put away, then this form is completed and is taken back to the receiving office for the put away. And the put away is just simply a bin-to-bin transfer. So for that, we're going to exit this and we are going to the receiving warehouse, which was TN2. And our put away is going to be bin-to-bin transfer, inventory management, material transactions, and a sub-inventory transfer. So the transaction type is sub-inventory transfer. Transaction lines, and we're gonna transfer our tires, which is this item number. The tires are in HLD. Locator HS07. We are going to move into OSK locator B01, did we say? Yeah, 200 tires to B01 and 50 to B02. The lot is 1703. Uh, 200 tires. Now this is important. On the reference field, we are going to enter the same bill of lading that is in the form. It's 101. I mean 1-1, I'm sorry. In the reference number, 1-1. Alright, so we scroll to the left because we have the other 50 to transfer. So we're gonna do the transfer for the remaining 50. forms coming out of same locator. Going to OSK B02 lot 1703. We're going to transfer 50 tires, and it's the same bill of lading number. Alright, so we have our 250 tires split into 2 locators. Just click save, and our 2 records are completed and saved. Always remember to expand your forms so that you guys can see this message at the bottom to make sure that your transactions are completed. Alright, so the tires are transferred. And then once that takes place, then the processed buy signs his or her name. So I cannot be the shipper and receiver, so let's just use Terry Hayes as an example. Alright, so also when he received it, he signs his name here. That's when he receives it from the driver. Okay, and so that's it. This is the form that we use, and we just went over the steps that are needed for the shipping portion and the steps that were needed for the receiving portion. Once this is completed, then this form it is saved also in the receiving warehouse, and at the end of every night the warehouse, they need to reconcile both the shipping and the receiving to make sure everything is completed and accounted for. Also in the receiving transactions, we need to run the transactions, material transactions, and we'll be able to identify the transactions based on the reference numbers that we used, 1-1 for both, for the shipping and receiving, and you'll see that in an extract of the material transactions. Okay, hope this video was helpful. Thank you for your attention, and we'll talk to you some other time. Thank you.